you. This is about foundation, infrastructure. This is about you doing what you have to do so you can start getting those sales. Because
Right.
you don't want a whole bunch of sales. I always say, what if you go viral tomorrow and 600 people ordered your book? Are
Right.
you ready for that? Like if they said, well, we have to order from your website. We can't even order from Amazon. You got time to get it to us, but we need to order today. Can we order 600 books? If your answer is no, then you need to read this book and get your foundation in order. I am not promising in this book that you're going to have 1,000 sales. My goal for you is to get an infrastructure, get a foundation set in place so you are set up for success when it's time to launch your book or relaunch your book. Because a lot of people have launched and they didn't have anything in place and still don't. So this is their opportunity to learn and start implementing these things so, they can relaunch or their next book, they can do it the right way.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Authors Impact Hub podcast episode. I am your host, Juanita Woodson, and today we are joined by no stranger to the Authors Impact Hub. Y'all are familiar with her, Miss Paula Banks, and I'm excited to chat with her about another book. Yes, she is back talking about another book that she has dropped. So, of course, Ms. Paula, I always get our authors to do their own introduction, tell us a little bit about yourself and the book that we're going to be talking about.
Hello, everyone. I am Paula Banks. I am the founder of Eon Books Publishing, which is a children's publishing house. I'm also the founder of Eon Creative Studios, where I support authors through publishing and creative services. And today we're going to be talking about the book Build First: Why Authors Build Backwards and How Can We Fix It? And I'm excited about this book. It came out of just experience, and so I'm hoping that it will guide and help other authors.
Yes, absolutely. And I know that you've been on this journey full force, right? You took off, and I'm excited for you to share a little bit about what you've learned in building your own author brand. But before we get into it, right, I've been opening up with an icebreaker. So if you can just describe your author journey in one word, and why would you choose that word?
Um, I would say surprising. Because I mean, if you've been around for a while, it all started with me, with God telling me to write a book, one book. That's all I wanted. So every time, so every time that something would happen, it's just surprising still to this day that um, that one book that I wrote has turned into so much more. So surprising.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. All right. So we know that you learned a lot during your author journey, and you also support authors as well. So tell us a little bit about what led you to Build First, to write Build First and address this challenge for authors. So what does Build First mean?
So Build First is basically, so when we are as authors, we always want to finish our book and we want to promote off the door. Like that's what we've been taught, to get your book out there, talk about your book any place, anytime that you can. But we forget that there needs to be, not, I'm not going to say forget, we just don't know as new authors that there is a foundation that should be in place as you're as you're writing your book. You should be starting there. And that foundation I call Build First, because without that foundation, um your promotion doesn't hit the same. Your promotion, um you think that it's a content problem, but it's because you have a structural problem. Like once you have things in place, your promotion becomes easier. You're able to scale better. You're able to grow more. But people go right to visibility because that's what we're taught. Nobody's saying you should have a website. Nobody's saying, you need processes in place, and I'm not saying like I didn't know, because I didn't know either. I didn't have no idea. But these were learning lessons. So that's what I saw, that people were, they didn't have the basic website. And I know I've been on here before and saying that people need to have a
Yeah.
website. I've been saying that for a long time. You got to have a website, because I realized there was errors that I made, that I realized how important it is to have a website. And
Yes.
people didn't even have that and didn't think that it was important. I would see comments in, group chats, and they would be like, do I really need a website? You definitely do. Well, I have Instagram or I have Facebook. That is not yours, baby. That is not yours.
That is not
So no, it's not yours. I mean, we like to think that it's our page, but it's not really. We don't own that. So that's where Build First came from. Um, to build in the correct order, to build structure, to have a foundation. So when all these things are together, once you get to promotion, which is the last pillar, things work and move in a different way.
Yes. Oh, and you know what? And this may be a topic for another time because I think a part of it is, right, sometimes having the knowledge and then just not doing anything with it, right? We can know but not implement. We can know I need this, but not wanting to take that next step to make the investment, right? So I'm glad you said that. We definitely have to break that down at some point.
Yes, you gotta invest in yourself. You gotta invest in your brand, because if you don't, who will? You want people to take you
Exactly.
seriously. Because I know, as a consumer, if I find a company or a brand, the first thing I'm doing is going to their website. And if
Yeah.
their website is messy or hard to maneuver, or they don't have one, or it is
Right.
just really, just not a good look, I probably won't do business with them.
Yeah.
And that's just how I maneuver. So I know, like, okay, I'm a consumer. Others people are, I don't want people to come to my website or find my brand to be like, I can't take her seriously. So it's important.
Yes, it is very important. People just have to know, and then once you know, implement.
Implement.
So, how can authors clearly define? Well, let's talk about positioning, right?
Hmm.
Why is that the first pillar?
Positioning is the first pillar, because everything depends on it. You have to know who your audience is. If you don't know who your audience is, you're talking to everyone. And people like to say, oh, who's your book for? My book is for everyone. Your book is not for everyone. It really is not. Now, there's books that are broad, but you want to speak to a specific person. You want someone to find your book and speak to them and be like, you know what, that is me. That's the book for me. You can get super specific, but if you don't have that positioning in your positioning in place, then you don't have a specific audience to target, who you need to talk
Yeah.
to. You want to talk to their pain points and their problems. You can't talk to everybody's problems. You can't solve everyone's problems. So you can't build a platform until you know who you're building it for. Who do you
Yes.
want to come? So that's why positioning is the first. Figure out who you are, who this book is for, and then you can maneuver from there.
Here. Okay. So, knowing who your book is for. So,
Yes.
let's say I'm an author and I'm trying to put this in a way to where it's like someone doesn't know because I have my way of identifying who my audience is, but someone who maybe doesn't know, well, how do I identify or know who my audience is? Because I just have this story. I just want to get the story out.
So if you have a story, so I'm a children's book author. That's my thing. So as a children's book author, a lot of children's book authors think they don't have an audience. It's kids. It's not just kids. So if a book is about, say, a child who's shy,
Mhm.
that is your target audience. Shy children, quiet children, introvert children. So those are the kids that you want to target. You want to
Yeah.
find those parents who are trying to figure out, like, okay, I have a quiet child, I have a child, shy child. I need, books for them that they can read so they can get encouragement and confidence. You have to look in your story, pull those things out. Those pain points is where you're going to find your audience.
Yes.
So you want, your book is solving a problem, or hopefully solving a problem. So you got to find those people who have that same problem. So every book guide, anything that you create has an audience. It should have an audience. It can't be everybody. And when people say, "Oh, my book is for everybody," I understand you want it to be, but from
Right.
a marketing and perspective, it can't be for everybody. You have to take time to figure out who your book is for.
Yeah.
And if you take that time up front, it'll save you a lot of heartache in the back end, a lot of extra footwork, a lot of extra, like, okay, let me go back and find this again. Because now you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You don't all this work for
Right.
everybody. And it's really, you're not connecting to anybody,
Yeah.
you know? So, that's how you find your positioning. You want to say if somebody asks you, like, who is your book for? You should be able to say, boom, 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 this is who my book is for. And that person should either A, be like, that's for me, or be
Yeah.
like, nah, I don't have that issue. And it's okay.
And it's okay.
It's okay. I think everybody gets people. I think authors sometimes get in their feelings like, oh, why don't you like my book? I don't. Every book is not for everybody, and it's okay. Everybody has their preference. Everybody has certain things that they're trying to work on. And if your book is for that, then that's for them. But if not,
Right.
it's okay. There's no
Right.
hard feelings. Everybody has their preference for everything, not just books, but for everything.
Everything.
So you just have to detach from that and stop saying everybody, and figure out who you need to be focusing on and directing your marketing and promotion to.
Yes, I think that is so important, right? So if you think about, I use this analogy a lot, the bread aisle. When you go into the bread aisle, everybody isn't picking up the same specific
Exactly.
brand of bread, right? They go to what their body needs. Maybe you need gluten free.
Gluten free, carb free.
You know what I'm
Some
saying?
people like can't
Yes,
have wheat. There people like honey wheat. Some
exactly.
people want potato bread.
Yes,
Everybody has a preference for everything. Paper towels, toilet paper,
yes,
eggs. And it's the same with books, lipstick, everything. Everybody has a preference. You can't, and you feel like, oh, you put a lot of work into this, and everybody, it's fine. You put a lot of work into
right.
it, but you want it to go to the right person. You don't want just anybody reading it and not taking away all the work that you
They
put into
need.
it. You
Yes,
know,
yes.
definitely.
And it's bigger, and that's how you know, right? If you're doing this because you're trying to really like build an author brand and not just doing this as a hobby, right? So I think that understanding the difference, like, is this a hobby for me, or am I really trying to do more than sell books? Because we know that
Exactly.
there's more than selling books. You have to do that research up front. And like you said, if you do it in the beginning when you're actually in the writing process, that can help
It
too.
helps a lot. It's just a lot of things can be done simultaneously. We multitask all the time. So writing, building a website, getting a landing page done. All these things can do, setting up an email. I
Right.
mean, just it doesn't have to be very overwhelming, and we're not talking a big scale production. Just
Yes.
to have something basic and foundational when you start, it really helps a million times. You don't want to miss out on opportunities because you're not ready, and you don't want to give Amazon and all these other places your money. Again, have a storefront set up, have a simple checkout so you can get that money and not have to split it with Amazon and they getting 60 to 70%. So,
Yes.
when you look at the big picture, and you sit and look, it makes sense. I'm not just saying, oh, you should have this, you should have that. They all work together for you to be successful in the end.
Yes, absolutely. And there's different options for how you can do it. You can have, listen, you can pay $3,500 to get a website. You can pay nothing and get a website,
Nothing.
right? If you plan to do it yourself, but there's an investment that you have to
On
make
every level, there's an
every
investment.
single level.
Every level. If you want to do it on Canva, you still gotta, you gotta get a domain. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
Right,
you gotta
right.
pay you gotta pay for the domain. If you get someone on Fiverr, it's maybe inexpensive,
Pay
but
for
you still
that.
have to pay somebody. So it's an investment on each level, and you just can't get around that.
You cannot. And so that takes me to, so why isn't social media enough? Because sometimes, especially not just what with housing, how people purchase from you, right? I see DM me to get a copy of the book or send me an email, right? And I'm not going to knock if that's what you are doing right now, but we do want you to elevate from
Yes.
that space so that you can really be successful. So why isn't social media alone enough in consistency overall?
Because one, we don't own social media. We don't own that page. Again, if social media was to go down today, you would have nothing. You would
Yeah,
have no. You can have 100,000 followers on social media, and what if you never created an email list? They're
right.
all gone. Your whole community is wiped out, and
Absolutely.
that's it. So if you have social media and you're consistent on there, then to that consistency, you need to add a email list. You need to bring those people over to your email to
Yeah,
continue, get them in your ecosystem, so you can nurture them over there. There's only so much you can do on social media. You can post, you can do a lot of things, but when you're in their inbox, you can do more, and that's important. But you can't, social media is great, and people rely on it heavily, and I understand, because again, that's just what it is. But an email list can do so much.
yeah,
You want to continue on. If you have a reader and the reader found you on social media, you can't nurture that reader forever on social media. You have to eventually move them off the platform. That is really the goal, to have them find them on social media and move them into your ecosystem so they can see your products and your other books and learn more about you. And if you don't do that, then what are you really doing? Like, what is the game plan? Like, again, you have to figure out, is this a business, or you're just happy to have 100,000 followers? You know what I'm
right,
saying? And if that is your preference, that's fine. But you can't be like, I don't understand why, nothing's really happening. I'm posting every day. But do you have an email list? Are these
right.
people, are you sending out weekly emails? Are you letting them know? Are you doing that? Are you have an automation? Something. And if you don't, then that's something that you need to definitely fix. Again, social media, I love it. It's great. It's a great marketing tool, but it can't be the whole pie. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I
Email
wish I
marketing is
didn't
great.
have social media. Oh my gosh, I could live without it sometimes, but I know it's
It's
necessary.
necessary, and these days I don't even want to go up there and post and have to set up and schedule and do all
Right.
those things. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do it all the time. But even the bare minimum, if I don't feel I have to do something just to continue to show up, you know what I'm saying? But some people put all of their
In social media.
energy into social media, and if someone says I have 100,000 followers, but you have no email list, like, what do you what like what is your what's the end game for that? And I hate to see authors who are so focused on building their platform up without really building their business, because you're not building your business, you're building a social media page that can be
Following.
taken in a moment. So do you want followers, or do you want engaged readers, or, like Ashley would say, super fans? What do you want? So, you know again, platforms social media is great, but you need your own digital hub. You need your own home online where people can go and learn about you, learn about your products, learn about your books,
Yes,
learn about what's coming up with you, and that's important. you
it
have
is.
to you have to have that.
I mean, there's no way to get around it, right? We see every single day where people, their pages are getting hacked, or maybe you got, what is it? I don't know. They put you in timeout.
Yeah, they put
So
you in
there's so
timeout.
many different
Getting
things that can
people are
happen.
getting, like, oh, you have, you tried to log in, or everybody's, you always, people trying to hack you. And if you
Yeah,
took all your time building this up and it can be taken just like that, that is
that's
devastating for someone.
right.
But if you had an email list, you can be like, hey guys, I got hacked, we're gonna be over here for a while.
For a while, and that's okay because we were already here.
Exactly. So it's, you nothing stops. Your business doesn't
Yes,
stop. You're continuously moving. But if you are just living on social media
yeah.
and that's it, everything stops. It's done. And so you can get a page back, or you have to start all over again.
All over.
So you know, when people stop, you have to go beneath the surface and look at the bigger picture of it all and be like, you know what, when you step back and be like, you know what, that's right, I don't own this.
Absolutely.
This ain't mine.
Yes. And I really want people to make that decision in the beginning, right? What am I doing this for? Knowing your why. When you know your why and you stand by your why, even when things are just like, man, this is another layer, this is something else I have to do. Yes, if it's important for you to get the message out, right? Because it's not just about the book, it's the message
It's
in
the
the
message,
book.
yes.
It's the people who need the message in the book and why you have to put in that hard work. And then a lot of the stuff, once you lay the foundation, you don't have to go back and redo it all over again every single day. You've already laid the foundation.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
When you don't have your foundation and you don't build in the correct order, you're every day it's like you're repeating the same thing. You're
Yeah.
trying to build, you're trying to engage people, you're trying to get new followers, new readers, instead of building with the ones that you
That you have.
have already, that
Right.
have converted over to your email list, to who are now in your ecosystem and who are now readers and super fans.
Yeah.
Every day you just got to keep building and building and building and building, and that's tiring, and that's how people get burnt out.
Yes. Keep nurturing the relationships that you have. So
Yes.
talk about product pathways. So what should happen after someone buys a book?
So product pathway, I don't think people, I think that's one of the things, one of the pillars that people just don't, like they just ignore completely or just really don't understand it. So after someone buys a book, you don't want the relationship to end at the transaction. You
Mhm.
want the transaction to be the beginning of the relationship, not the end. So after a purchase, a reader should be welcomed into your world. They are family now. They should be invited into your email list. They should be offered something, a freebie, a lead magnet, something of whatever that's going to keep them connected to your community, and to your next product.
Right.
And that is what overall you want them to be in your community, but you want to also get them to buy more. So that is why you have to have a product pathway, because that is what is going to open the door to your other products, your other books, and people drop the ball on that a lot. I think they just don't really understand it. Say you have 5 books and you're pushing one. How are people going to know about these 5 books?
Yeah. The other
You got 5 books over here on your website. If you have a website, but you have 5 books, but you're only talking about
one.
this one book, why not get all these books? So get them in with this one and then
Yeah.
lead them to the others. But you have to get them with this one and then you have to lead them. You have to create
Right.
a pathway to them to get to those other books. You don't have to do all 5 at the same time, but you have to start with one and then create a step, a step by
Right.
step pathway to get to the other books. And that is a crucial part of the process because that brings in more income for you, more money, more people
Yeah.
into your community, and that is something that I learned as well. Like, you have you create products and you create resources,
Mhm.
but they're just sitting there. And then you're like,
Absolutely.
what happened? Nobody's buying nothing because I'm not talking about it. I'm not
Right.
leading
Talking
people.
about this new book, but not the other
I'm
one.
not talking
Yeah.
about these books over here. I'm not talking about these resources or this thing that could help them. So you have to build that pathway yourself to make sure that you're not just talking about one product. You're once they are in, you need to be. They have to get it. They should get something immediately. Get email. Something to nurture them, and then it should have like, okay, so now that you read this or you have this, how about let's try this? I mean,
The other books.
there's a process to it, and once you get that down, it's just like clockwork. Like, you're not reinventing the wheel every time you have a book. It's once you get the foundation down, it's the same process. You might have little tweaks, but I have to have my positioning. I need to have my platform. I have to build a product pathway because I have this book. I have that resource. So these are things that once you get down and understand how important they are and how they work together, it's just rinse and repeat.
That's setting the foundation, not having
Yes,
back
yes.
and reinventing the wheel for sure. So how can authors, and I think this almost is the same question, almost, right? How can authors turn a one-time reader into a long-term relationship? So that's, I mean, kind of along the same line.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get them, you want to nurture them. You want to get them into your email list, and like then once they're in there, you don't want to just like sell to them immediately, but you want to nurture them. You want to teach them like who you are, what you're about, what is your mission about. You want to just really let them know who you are, what you're trying to do, and then you come in soft, sell a little bit, you know, and it just works from there. You just keep doing it. And people would get upset about like, oh, I hate when people unsubscribe, but those are the people you don't want on your list anyway.
Listen, let them,
Peace out.
let
It's
them, because if
okay.
you think about, oh, I have 100,000 followers on social media, okay, but how many of those may be bots, right? Your email list, at least you can see those people who are genuinely interested in what it is
Exactly.
that you have to do,
I
what it
don't
is
get
that
mad.
you
I don't try
offer.
to engage them back. Like if you want to
Yeah.
stay, you're gonna stay. If you're gonna leave, you're gonna leave.
Yeah.
I don't care about unsubscribing. Like
Mhm.
they're like, I don't want people to unsubscribe. I don't want to send a lot of emails. I don't want to do that. I get emails from people like 25 million times a day.
A
Fashion
day.
Nova sends crazy emails 12 an hour. And like I feel like that's no exaggeration. And I'm still on their email list.
Yeah.
So if you are interested and you want to see what someone's doing and you want to, keep abreast with them, you stay on their email list.
Right.
And that's it. But if people unsubscribe, it's okay. That means that I'm not what you need. And I hope you find what you do
What
need.
you need. Yeah. The good thing about email lists, right? You can even segment them.
Yes, there's
Right.
so much thing you could do. You know what I mean? Like you can now it's like who's engaged. Like you want to like they have a thing where you can like reward the people who are really engaged
Yes.
when you want to resend this. You can send that.
Yes.
Spec times where your readers are opening the emails. I mean, like there's so many things that you can do and so much useful information and
Yeah.
analytics to help you along. You're not out here just guessing.
Right.
There is
The data is there.
data is there. You just have to take some time, read it, and look at it,
Yeah.
and it's trial and error. Trial and error. You might get nobody to open your email. You might get 5 people, you might get 10, but you gotta just keep doing it.
Consistency. Yes.
Gotta keep doing it, keep building, and next thing you know, you have an engaged community, an engaged
Right.
email list. People are buying, and that's what you want. That is
Right.
that is what you want. That's how you start. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to put in the work.
You have to. You got to get your reps. You
You
have
got to get
to.
your reps in. You got to do it. I mean, that's
You have
again,
to be
it
consistent.
goes back to: is this what you want to do for a hobby, or is this what you want to do and build a business?
Yes, and that's where I am with just the mindset thing that comes with it, right? I'm asking that question straight up.
Because it's going to take you down two different paths.
It will take you down
It's
to
two different
different.
lanes to go. Like if this is a hobby, you ain't gotta
Yes.
look, you ain't even gotta read this book. This is not for you.
Right.
This is
Right.
this is this is not for you. You are fine on the platform. You are fine, with your followers. That's what you want to do. But if you want to build correctly, if you want to have a foundation, then you
Mm.
should maybe read the book and see what you can get out of it. But once you tell me like, oh, I don't know, this is just something I want to check it off a box, then you can cut out a whole lot of stuff on the journey.
Yeah, it's a lie. So it's just making that decision. If you are trying to build an author brand with this and really go far, because you can go far and you can generate income, you can help other people win. So you just have to make that decision. So I think that's very important. And so many authors, they get overwhelmed, right?
It's overwhelming at the beginning, and you're like, you know what? I'm not making money. Nobody's buying my books, and you're comparing and you're looking, and this person got this books. And if you are not really 10 toes down in your decision of like, I want to give this a great go, you will quit. You'll
Yeah,
be like, I'm done. This ain't for me. I'm spending more than I'm making. I mean, like, the list can go on, but you have to really know, like, regardless of what happens, up, downs, I'm in it until the Lord tells me that it's a wrap
Yeah.
or whatever happens. But this is what I'm going to do. And I think every one of us comes to that crossroad, like, is this what I really want to do? And if it's not, it's okay. Some people give it a go and be like, this is not something I'm ready to put this much time into.
That much effort into, and that's okay. It's like making that decision, right? So what would you say to an author who's like, I really do think that this is what the Lord is calling me to do, right? In building an author journey, but they're overwhelmed and they don't really know how to start with building a system, right? What would be the first thing they need to consider doing?
So when it comes to building a system, stay basic. So one of the first things, as we just spoke about, you need is a email list. But going a step further is automation. So automation is very important because you do not want to have to manually send out a welcome email every single time someone signs up for your email list. It's just not feasible. It's not
Right.
going to happen. So I want to always tell an author to start basic, start small, because you won't become overwhelmed.
Yes.
And for me, I use MailerLite. I feel like it's very simple. I
Yes.
was comfortable using it after using a couple of different email systems. And you can set up a simple automation, just one, a welcome email. So when someone signs up, that they can sends it out to them, and it welcomes them into your community, it thanks them, whatever you would like.
Yeah.
But I think a welcome email is one of the first things, along with your email list, to set up. um just because that is the entrance into your community, into your ecosystem. You don't want somebody to sign up and then it's crickets,
There's nothing.
and then
Because
you don't.
they will unsubscribe when
They
you.
will unsubscribe. Like, cause me, I'll be looking for the welcome email or something, and
Yeah.
there's like a mental note, like, I didn't get nothing. Like, like, I want you to know, I want to be recognized. Like, okay, I
Right.
got you. You're in. Here's a 5 checklist, or here's
Yeah.
something, just so they know, like, okay, I'm in. I'm inside, and now we're gonna move. But I think that is very important. And there's many systems that can be set up as an author. There's a lot of things that can be done, but you want to work at your own pace. You don't want to be like, I need to have, a checkout system, and then I need to have it where it's going to upgrade this person. And if they don't want, like, that's a lot. It's very
You're gonna
interesting.
get
It's
overwhelmed
like a funnel. Like,
immediately.
those are funnels, and um, and it's a lot. Get your one automation, and get you a checkout, a storefront. Basic. It doesn't even have to be a storefront. PayHip, you can set up a product page with a little checkout,
Yes.
and then you can sell your books, and you don't have to worry about Amazon, or you don't have to sell exclusively through Amazon. Those are the two things that you should have before you pre-order a book. uh, Anything, you should have that in place. So when you are ready to tell people that, okay, my book is ready, I want you to, pre-order. Here's the link.
You already set up.
It's already signed up, and these things are easy. And PayHip is free, and so is MailerLite up until, I think,
Right.
500 subscribers. So it's not like you're coming out of your pocket at all in the beginning for these two things. I think PayHip takes a percentage of your like a
Right.
transaction fee or something. Is a percentage, 3%
But
or
it's
something.
very, I mean,
It's
it's very,
very minimal. It's
yeah.
very minimal to be a free service. And it's
Now, this, let me just jump in here and just
Mhm.
say this really quick, right? Because while these things are free, if you want somebody to do those things for you, you may have to invest in the setup part of that, right? I think
Yes,
that's very important to say here because you can do it yourself
all
for
the time,
free, but
but
it may take you longer, right? It may give you a headache to set these things up because you've never done it before. Maybe you're not familiar, so you may go and ask someone to assist you don't be surprised. This may be a part of the investment, right? This investment into your business and investment in
Exactly,
brand to
exactly.
get
And
assistance.
it definitely depends. If because me, I will pay for convenience.
Right.
I'm at the age where I might try it out, but if it's too technical for me, I'm gonna get somebody else to do it
Yeah.
immediately. You know what I'm saying? And that's just me
Mhm.
because if I is not my ministry, I'm gonna get somebody whose it is. Like they're gonna do it
Yeah.
right. And I learned that in my first book with formatting. I tried to format and it almost made me say, I am done with publishing. I'm not doing it. And I thought to myself, girl, why don't you just pay somebody to do it? And
Because
that
you
was a
can work on
lesson
something else while that's getting
and that
done.
was a lesson learned, and I keep that lesson. That was a lesson for me because I am quick to be like, you know what, I can't. I don't have the time. I mean, sometimes maybe I can do it, but I just have so much going on that I can just outsource it to someone else. There's nothing wrong with outsourcing work, getting it done, to free up time for things that you can do, and that's okay. You know, like you can always come to me because I will be glad to help you set up your systems and website and all those good things.
That's what listen, that's why I said that because I think it's so important for people to understand like you can do it yourself for free, but I want us to get out of the mindset that you're supposed to have someone's assistance for free, right? I think that you have to invest in the things. I saw this quote and it was like, I and we have good hearts. So we do things for people, but the expectation going into building your brand cannot just be, well, they'll do it for free.
No, I learned that from you.
Yeah.
I you gotta pay. You gotta pay, and it's okay.
Either time or
Your
money.
time alone that you are doing something for someone, you have to charge for your time, and that was a lesson that you taught me because I was not doing that. I'm like, oh, I want everybody to, I want to help everybody, and times is hard. Mm-mm. Because when you're in it, you be like, why did I not charge
Yeah,
a little bit more, because this is time consuming and it's this, like, so yeah, investing is okay,
it's
and
important.
you're going to get something that is going to be able to stay with you and last with you, and you can go right, because that's
Work
what
on
authors love
something.
to do. We
You
like to
can work
write.
on something else. And I think the principle of investing, right, that will help you when it's time to send an invoice to someone else for, hey, you're booking me to come and speak, right? You're booking me for bulk book order, right? So I think the idea of learning to invest in the things that will help you grow will help you when it's time for you to send the
Yes.
invoice. But it will just listen, time is money. So invest in
Time, you
things
cannot
that
get it
will
back. I mean,
help you to
time does
position
not come
yourself.
back. Money comes around again, but time is that's it. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can
That's
make more money, but you can't get your time back.
yeah.
So investing is very important. And if you hire someone to do something for you, it's okay. It's like, it's, I know we don't like to part with our money, and we're like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay because you're investing in yourself and it's going to help you in the long run. But if you can't truly afford something, doing it yourself is okay as well. Everybody has options. Everybody's in different economic statuses right now, and things are a little crazy out here. So you do what
What's
works
gonna
best
work
for
best?
you, at the time. And then you can invest now, then you can invest small. Invest in the mailer light.
Right.
They have
Yes. The domain name.
the domain name that, that's $20. You know what I'm saying? You can invest. People hear the word invest and they think it has to be grand. You can invest in
Yeah.
domain names. I used to invest. I got so many domain names because I'm like,
Listen.
let me get my domain, and it made me feel good. Like, oh, I own these domain names, and and that's what I did at first because I can afford. They were like somewhere 11.99, twelve
Yeah.
ninety nine. So it's okay to start small, and then I was able to invest and have other people do other things for me, and that's how you move. That's how you grow. That's how you scale. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I think like mindset is so important, right? Have to be willing to
Absolutely.
invest. To first, no, is this a hobby or is this something I am fully invested in, right? And then being willing to invest your time to learn, to understand the marketing side of things, right? And if you aren't familiar, having someone to help you to understand and navigate that space, right? I think that is so important. Then we talk about promotion because we be ready to just
We
buy
be
a
ready to
book.
jump. Like immediately go into that promotion. Like you wrote your book. It's really like
Yeah,
this. You wrote your book. It's time to promote. We pre-launch. We launching. That's it. And nobody's thinking like I ain't got no website.
right,
I don't have no way to purchase. Nobody can purchase a book directly from me. And that's not good because my story was I didn't have a website. A school wanted to buy book order from me, and they couldn't do Amazon. A lot of schools can't
yeah.
purchase off of Amazon and all that. They have to purchase directly from you. I didn't have it, and they were like, "Oh, sorry," and that hurt my heart because I was great. It was a great, it would have been a great sale, and the relationship would have been built. A school, and I'm a children's book author. That's the ultimate relationship. But
I hope
that
you've gone back to them since.
you said what now?
I hope you circle back around
Oh
to
God,
them.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. We good now. They've done ordered books, and
Okay.
we good now. But at that time, it was devastating to me. Like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, like. And this, it really bothered me because I was like, I thought I had everything, and I didn't. And that's when I was like, you know what? Let me focus on what is important. Like I need a website. And that made me start thinking like a consumer, as like I told you before, like I always go to someone's website. So why wouldn't I have a website? I'm so
Right.
always big on like, okay, I found a brand or let me go to their website and see what they're working with. And I didn't have one. So that was the first place I started. And I realized like, okay, I can't, I need to have an email list, and I'm one who likes to implement because that's what I do for work. I'm an
Yeah.
implementation specialist. So I love to be in the back end and I love to like create things and implement them and set up systems. So I probably went a little extra because it was just something that I'm used to and what I do. Um, but I knew that once I had these things in place, that things would get better because they found me. I didn't go looking for them, so I knew it wasn't a visibility issue. It wasn't a like I wasn't, they found me. So it was just my back end system, my foundation wasn't there. I didn't have no infrastructure. It was nothing. It was just nothing, no bones, no nothing. It was like, you got to go to Amazon and buy my book. And
Right.
nobody wants to go to Amazon and buy a book. Even when your friends ask you, do you want me to buy it on Amazon or would you want me to give you that sale? Because they
Come on.
know that, they taking a cut. So that was a real lesson for me and where it kind of all really started as far as like you have to think like a consumer sometimes, like put yourself as you as a consumer. And for me, it was okay, how you are about websites, and you out
Right.
here trying to
Come
sell some books, and you don't even have a website of your own. So that I was mad at myself for that. And that's how it all really, started to like bills. And then
on.
as I'm doing this, so I'm thinking like there's so many other. I would come into so many other authors who just didn't have websites, who didn't have any systems in place, no process,
Mm.
nowhere to have a checkout or anything, missing book orders because of the same thing. So that is kind of where it all was born. Just from my lesson, my mistake, and hopefully others won't make the same.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And I just want to add this, right? Having a website, kind of like Amazon, even when we're sleeping, they constantly have orders coming through, right? So your website can do the same thing. You
Do
can
the
wake
same thing.
to orders when you have those right systems in place and you have that foundation laid. So I think it's so important. So this is why we need you to go and grab a copy of Bill first, right? Because Paula
Yes.
is helping you to
I'm
lay this
trying to help
foundation.
you. I just want to help you lay this
Yes.
foundation. And it is not about oh, this is going to make me a million sales. This is about foundation, infrastructure. This is about you doing what you have to do so you can start getting those sales. Because
Right.
you don't want a whole bunch of sales. I always say, what if you go viral tomorrow and 600 people ordered your book? Are
Right.
you ready for that? Like if they said, well, we have to order from your website. We can't even order from Amazon. You know, you got time to get it to us, but we need to order today. Can we order 600 books? If your answer is no, then you need to read this book and get your foundation in order. I am not promising in this book that you're going to have 1,000 sales. My goal for you is to get an infrastructure, get a foundation set in place so you are set up for success when it's time to launch your book or relaunch your book. Because a lot of people have launched and they didn't have anything in place and still don't. So this is their opportunity to learn and start implementing these things so, they can relaunch or their next book, they can do it the right way.
Absolutely. Well, how can we connect with you on social media and order a copy of the book?
So, I am at I'm at author Paula Banks on Instagram. My website is paulaYbanks.com, where you can order a book there. Um, and I am Paula Watkins Banks on Facebook, and Eon Books, EION Books is my publishing um, website, and Eon Creative is .com is my Eon Creative Studio portion. That's that website.
Yeah. So listen, we just talked about going to the website. So make sure you go and subscribe to Paula's websites. But I always love our conversations.
Yes.
So much to unpack, right? In the author journey and then just everything that comes along with it. So, this is never the last time that you will hear Miss Paula's voice on the Author's Impact Hub.
No, I'll be back because I got a book coming out in July. So I'm going to spin the block
Yes,
and I
this is
will be back.
the last time. So, how do you want your books and your work to leave an impact on the world? Because you're doing so many amazing things.
So, I have my hands in a whole bunch of things, with the lit kids and the authors. But for me, it all comes back to I want my legacy for people to know that what they are doing matters. For kids, what their voice matters. For authors, their stories are important. And if you want to get your story out there, you want to give it the best possible foundation that you can to make that happen. For me, I am all about authors, children, anyone knowing that they matter. Their voice, their stories, that is what my legacy is. I want people to know that about me at the end of the day. And yeah, that's what I want my books to do.
Awesome. Well, continue showing up and doing the work that you are doing. It is
Thank
definitely
you.
necessary. Your voice matters. I'm always going to tell you that.
Yes.
And listeners, make sure you go and connect with Miss Paula. Thank you for tuning in for this season because this wraps up season 3. So you want to make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss out when season 4 drops. Thank you so much for staying connected, hearing all the amazing authors that have been on. Until next time, take care.